All right, hey, what's up, guys? Coach Mac, Play Fast Football. Today I'm going to do a video on just putting out there the fact that option football is option football, whether it's under center, triple option, or it's shotgun RPO, throwing the ball. What I label option football to me is option football, and we'll talk a little bit about all those things. Make sure you check out some of our partners, Dome Hats, headwear company we use for Play Fast Football, and the school I'm currently at. They have an awesome online hat builder where you can design, customize your own hat for your business, your school, personal, whatever you need your hat for. You can change the hat style. You can change the back from snapback to Velcro to fit it. You can change the color of the panels, the color of the eyelets up top, the button up top. All right, you can customize it and build it yourself. Every hat has a story. Make sure you use Dome Hats to help you tell the story of your hat. Baker Sporting Goods is the company I use for my coach's stuff, shirts like this, our spirit packs, shirts we wear under our game uniform. Our uniforms are distributed by Baker Sporting Goods, so if you need anything in the apparel world, make sure you check out Baker Sporting Goods. Just Play Football, a more powerful way to present your information. It's the play drawing tool that I use if I'm going to speak at webinars, if I'm going to do anything for my Patreon site, if I'm going to speak at any clinics. When I spoke at Glacier Clinics, I always, the last couple of years, I used Just Play, and it was the easiest tool that I've used and the most professional tool that I've used. It also has some features to quiz your players on game plan, the playbook, and some other things. So make sure you check out Just Play. GameStrat sideline replay system we use. If you're looking for a highly reliable, highly affordable sideline replay system that's easy to use, user-friendly, great customer support that really is about football programs and making sure they're taken care of, make sure you check out GameStrat. Difference USA, the ultimate striking machine. Get thousands of reps without needing a partner. Elbows in, thumbs up. All right, teaching you how to strike properly, where your eyes need to be, where you need to strike. All right, for maximum effectiveness, getting reps without needing a partner. All right, so in today's day and age, that's a good thing in the COVID protocol world. All we got to do is wipe the pad down. We don't need to come in contact with another body. So make sure you check out Difference USA. HighandTight ball training security aid that we use. It's got sensors that in each panel, it's got sensors that when they are held properly in the right position with the right amount of pressure, they will beep. When you hear that beep, you've got the ball where it belongs, wrist above the elbow, proper points of pressure, elbow where it belongs, wrist where it belongs, ball where it belongs. You'll hear the beep. Build that muscle memory to know, yes, that's where it needs to be. Yes, that's the pressure I need. No, that's not good. That's not good. That's not good. Learn all the things that aren't proper so that when you do get the proper spot and you lock it in, you know right away that's where the ball goes. All right, so make sure you check out HighandTight. So, I've seen a lot of things on social media lately with guys talking about terminology on defense and how come Saban's is different from Aranda's, that's different from Venables, and can we make one standard chain of information for everybody? And I think that's a great thing. I think it's great information because people talk about things all the time. And when they talk about them, a lot of times they're talking about the same thing, but it's different nomenclature or different terminology, and people get confused. To me, it's the same thing when we talk about option football. Option football, by definition, means the quarterback, all right, is meshing the ball with a ball carrier, and he is reading a defender to figure out whether or not he's going to give that ball, all right, or he's going to keep that ball. Triple option football adds another read onto it off of his initial give-keep read. All right, now he's got a keep pitch read off of that. So if he, on the first level of the give-keep read, if he's running a play, and I'll diagram like a veer or a midline play, or I'll diagram a double option and then a triple option. So if he's got a triple option theory off an inside veer play, and he keeps the ball off his first key, he now goes and attacks his second key, which he is going to figure out whether to keep or pitch the ball, okay, to a tailback or wing back, whatever you want to, whoever you want to look at. And now he's got a triple option theory because there's keep it himself, give it to the fullback, pitch it to the tailback. He's got three options. But those are all post-snap deals where the ball is going in somebody's stomach and you're riding and deciding off of a certain player, right? RPOs in the passing game, to me, it's option football kind of on steroids, or amped up a bit. It is still going to be, for me, the way I categorize it, it's going to be a play where the ball goes in the tailback or the fullback's stomach post-snap. All right, the ball gets ridden and the decision comes post-snap off of, all right, whatever defender, conflict defender that we are reading. So if you had like an old school flex ball team, let's just say they were going to run inside veer, all right, to the right here, and let's just say they were going to double the three, okay, and they were going to work the double to the Mike, and they were going to double the A shade or the 1 back to the will, and they're going to block out on a 5. They're going to get their inside veer track here. let's just say this guy's going to arc release and try and take care of the safety. He's got the corner. Here comes your orbit motion pitch player. So now your first read is going to happen off that end on your inside veer play. So the quarterback is going to, with the proper mechanics, I am not a flex bone guy, so to tell you exactly how he gets down the line of scrimmage, all right, I'd be lying to you. I'm not a flex bone guy. I've seen it before. I know what inside veer is. I know enough about the play, but I don't know all the proper mechanics, and I don't want to lie about it. So when the quarterback gets down the line, that first thing he's going to do is going to decide whether he's giving to the fullback or the A-back or B-back, whatever they call those guys, all right? And then if he keeps, he's then going to attack. So this would be 1, and I'll put a triangle. So that would be somewhere along the lines of, N-man on the line is going to give him his give-keep. Then off of that, he's going to have a keep pitch off of that Sam linebacker, and he's going to have an orbit motion pitch player with that wing. Okay? That's triple option football. That's under center, old veer. Okay, you can do it from split back veer like some of the college teams used to do in the 60s and 70s. Lou Holtz at Arkansas and some of the great Darryl Royal and some of the great teams at Texas. And then, you know, this same kind of theory got into wishbone type stuff where you had those two backs there and you were doing the same things, right? So you're running triple option football, okay? Whether it was flex bone, double wing, or it was single, it was, you know, whatever the formation was, split back veer, it's still option football. Now, if you were to run a midline concept from this same offense, okay, so if you were to run a midline concept and it'd be the same back here, probably the same here, now your guard's going to get up on the mic, you're going to block out on, all right, the 5 technique. All right, let's just say for right now we're going to talk about midline as a double option play. All right, so midline as a quarterback ISO to where now we're going to get the path of the back down the midline. We're going to read the 3 technique, and there's not going to be a third read because what we're going to do is we could motion this guy to get the same triple look, but then we're going to fold this wing under for the Sam so that if the quarterback keeps off of the 3 technique, the quarterback's going to run ISO up inside. So that's what's called double option. So if it's a midline keep theory or a midline ISO theory, all right, or whatever the proper terminology is to the option or flex bone people, if the quarterback is going to have a choice to give to the fullback or keep and run ISO behind a wingback inserting inside, that's a double option. There's not a third pitch phase. Okay, so you've got triple option football and then you've got double option football. All right, there's several other. There's freeze option, and then there's, you know, your counter option and lead. Again, I'm not a flex bone guy. I'm not a triple option guy. I'm not here to talk about all that terminology because I wouldn't be able to do it justice. But the bottom line is you've got double option plays that have 2 options, triple option plays that have 3 options, right? Well, when we go to run RPOs, we are doing the same exact thing, you know, whether or not now. I don't know if people don't like calling RPOs option football because of the old school option guys don't want to lose sight of, you know, what their offense is, what their system is, you know, if you want to call it the culture, all right, or however you want to, you know, some people call it, you know, we used to joke around all the time like, you know, it's a cult, the wing T guys, the single wing guys, the flex bone guys, the air raid guys, the run and shoot guys. You know, you can't talk about pass protection, the run and shoot pass protection. You can talk about routes and other things, but unless you're inside the cult with the secret handshake, or you're in the club, quote unquote, the secret handshake, you don't talk pass protection to anybody else. So to me, it's just one of those deals where the old school true under center option guys or whatever, you know, whatever offense it may be, they don't want to lose sight on the fact. All right, they don't want to lose sight on the fact that that's their version of option, that's option football, and this is not. But when you really look at it, okay, option football in theory, what are you really trying to do? Okay? So, when you're running some type of option play, what you're trying to do is block the least amount of players at the point of attack you have to block. So, anytime you can make 1 or 2 players part of the read in triple option football, that's 2 less blocks that you have to make. Okay, so you are using the reaction of the defense to dictate who gets the football from a player that's unblocked. Okay, so at that point of attack, whether it be the 5 technique on an inside veer play or an outside veer play, or it's a Sam linebacker for the pitch read, or it's the 3 technique for the midline read, whoever it is, you're trying to block less players. So option football, You notice they run it a lot at the academies, right? Because option football, sometimes the techniques involved and blocking less players is a little bit more beneficial for the kids that they need to recruit because they just can't spread the field and play a different style of football against the players that they're playing against because their recruiting standards are so different, the type of kid that goes into military academies. So sometimes that's the equalizer of how they can kind of make the game with the running attack, holding onto the ball, taking the air out of the ball, time of possession, getting down the field 2-3 yards in a cloud of dust. That's their equalizer. It's what they do. All right, but the bottom line is the theory behind it is blocking less people. You're leaving 1 to 2 guys. If you can't block them, read them. Okay, so now the ball is going to go somewhere based on the defense's reaction, not based on you lining up and just mauling people and running, gaps or whatever it is, and, the old school 21, 22 personnel and just 3 yards in a cloud of dust on ISO and lead theories and gap theories. You can't line up and maul people, so if you can't block them, the old adage was read them. Okay, and pray and play on their weaknesses. So their reactions, what they're doing. Instead of physically trying to handle that guy with a lineman that might be inferior, leave him unblocked and let the quarterback do something off his reaction. So when you go to run RPO football, so like RPO football, to me, post-snap RPOs, I'm not talking about pre-snap leverage throws, that's not an RPO to me. Post-snap RPO football, throwing the ball off a second or third level key. I will never run an RPO that I call an RPO with a first level player unblocked. If I leave a first level player unblocked, you can guarantee that I consider it, okay, part of my triple option package, all right, or part of my, old school option package. All right, so for me, I consider RPOs very much option football. All right, but when I determine the RPOs that I'm going to use, for me, RPOs are only double option plays that are reading second and third level players post-snap. Anything I do pre-snap, for me, in my offense, and again, this is what makes coaching in football so beautiful. It's my choice. It's what I want to do to communicate with my players. It's how I want to teach my players, my coaches, or anybody else that would, that wants to learn how I do things. Pre-snap gifts or access throws are not RPOs to me. Even if you had a run play called and the quarterback pre-snap took a throw based on the coverage or the numbers, I don't consider that an RPO. Is it truly a run-pass option? Yes, if you had a run play called and he threw a pass, then yes, the quarterback probably had a run-pass option. For me, RPOs get labeled as post-snap meshes, all right, reading a second or third level defender. That is what an RPO for me is. So for me, an RPO is just double option football, okay, to where if I was going to run an ISO theory and I was going to block these guys and bring the sniffer here and I'm going to insert, all right, the tailback there, and I'm going to run this glance route and I'm going to read that weak safety, okay? If I'm going to do that post-snap off of a mesh, off of a ride and decide with my tailback, so if my quarterback is going to present the ball to my tailback, stick it in his stomach and ride, and read off of that weak safety to determine whether to give this ball or throw that route. That, to me, is option football. I'm leaving a guy at the point of attack unblocked. So if this weak safety is down in an 8-man front, when I go to run weak side ISO, that's the guy you will always have a hard time getting to if you're running a weak side isolation theory because you run out of blockers. I can't dig them out like I could possibly here with a slot player. I don't have a slot. They have 7, I have 6 and a tailback. The only other way I could block that guy is with a quarterback run using both backs as blockers. So if I can't block him, how can I account for him in the run game to be able to run weak side runs? I RPO read him. So option football, all right? I don't block a guy again. So if I'm not going to block a guy, but I'm going to read him, and it's going to be post-snap, and it's going to involve a mesh with a tailback, all right, then I read him. Okay, so if I can't block him, I read him. So that's all I'm doing here is I'm taking old school double option football, similar to the midline play that I showed you, and the quarterback's got 2 choices. Give that ball, throw that ball, based off of the read that we give the quarterback. Can that read affect, all right, the play to make a tackle? Just like can the 3 technique tackle the fullback? Yes, pull the ball. Can he not tackle the fullback for a 2 or 3 yard gain, or is it going to be an arm tackle? Give to the fullback, however you teach your midline principles if you're an option guy. that RPO is still double option football for me. And I consider it option football because I am riding, I am putting the ball in somebody's stomach. There is a mesh that we're talking about. There's a ride to the side. I'm using those mechanics. I am going to throw my forearm into the back, all right, of the ball carrier to eject the ball and get the ball. If the ball was this eraser, one thing in option football you try not to do, or when you have read schemes or mesh schemes, you try not to pull the ball out because it gets caught on the hip, it gets caught up when they're grabbing. You try to what's called eject the ball, which means you throw your forearm into the back of the ball carrier, and look what the eraser does. The eraser magically comes out. Instead of pulling this way, I eject the ball there, and that's how I teach the running back that's on the mesh, do you feel the back of a hand on your stomach or a forearm in your back? That's how you know when to really, or when you need to or should roll over, clamp down, so you avoid bad exchanges and fumbles. Okay, but what am I doing? I'm reading somebody at the point of attack. I'm blocking one less player at the point of attack, and I'm reading that player to decide what to do with the football. That's option football. Okay, however you want to do it. It doesn't matter if you're under center, flex bone, split back veer, running inside, outside veer, running midline or freeze, running trap option stuff. It doesn't matter. You're leaving somebody unblocked and you're asking the quarterback to make a decision. That's what RPO football is. Now, the only other difference, with RPO football is if I've got a runner at QB, okay, I probably want to use more traditional option theories, okay, because I want him to run. If I've got a guy that's not a very good runner, but he's a real good thrower, I want to use RPO option theories. Why? Because when he reads a player and he doesn't give the ball to the tailback, I don't want him running. He's not a good runner. I now want him throwing. So RPOs and option football now becomes also who is your quarterback. If your quarterback is a better runner than he is a thrower, then run more traditional option theories with him running, okay, as part of the package. So one of the things that we used to do from 10 personnel is we would run versions of triple option, but we would use the wide receivers as the option players. So we'd get into 2x2, and you could run like a zone read theory, however you want to look at it. So we get into 2x2 here, and we would run a zone read theory, triple option theory, if my quarterback was a runner. And what we would do is we would get this inside zone. I'd read that, and then on the outside what we do is we'd run like a stand up by 1 with a flat stalk, a flatten up stalk by 2. Quarterback off the zone read, if he keeps, now attacks and reads. So first read, second read. What is that? It's triple option football. The only difference is instead of me pitching to a orbit motion back, wing back, slot back, whoever you want to call that guy, B back, whatever it is, now I'm actually going to throw a flat screen or a stand-up screen out to that receiver. So when I used to have quarterbacks that I liked as runners, that would be the triple option theory I carried because we were a spread team, we were shotgun, we were 10 personnel, 20 personnel. Rather than bring a guy in to get him in the pitch phase, I would just use the receivers as the pitch phase. Okay, as soon as I got to where my quarterback wasn't the greatest runner, I started to incorporate RPOs because I still wanted to read people, because most of the time for me, depending on each week, if the opponent is as good or better than me, there's times where I want to read guys, not block them, because the less guys I have to block, the more chance I have at being successful. Okay, so hopefully this helps you guys out. To me, option football is option football. If it's post-snap, if there's a mesh involved, it's option football. Okay, how you classify your triple option running theories or your double option RPO theories, that's up to you how you classify things. I have my own way of classifying what I think is an option theory, an RPO theory, and an access or a gift theory. All right. For me, RPOs will never be run with a first level player unblocked ever. I don't run any RPOs with first level players unblocked. All my RPOs are second or third level. Anything that happens to pre-snap for me is not an RPO. That's just what I do and how I do it. That doesn't mean it's right. There is no rule, in my opinion. I don't think there is a rule. It doesn't mean it's right. It doesn't mean it's wrong. It just means that's how I do things. And when I talk to people, teach people, or people ask me about what we do, that's what I tell them. That's how I classify things for my quarterback. You're going to have your first level reads, which are going to involve more double option keeps or triple option screens. You're going to have your second and third level reads that are going to be post-snap reads as well, but those are going to involve down-the-field throws where you will now never pull that ball and run. You will pull that ball and make a throw off your read. Okay, so hopefully that helps you out. Hopefully it doesn't, if you're an old school option guy and you don't agree with me, great. That's your opinion. As long as you're, I always tell people I can give my opinion on anything I want to give it on. As long as I'm not hurtful or hateful to somebody or something, it's just my opinion. You don't have to agree with it. You don't have to like it. You don't have to do it my way. As long as I'm not hurtful or hateful, I'm never going to say that option football stinks. I'm never going to say that I hate flex bone or I hate whatever. However you move the ball and score points, that's up to you. That's what makes football great. All right, I'll give my opinion on the option plays that I use and how I categorize them, but it's just my opinion. All right, as long as I'm not hurtful or hateful to say that offense stinks, option football stinks, can't do it this way, can't. That's where you get into where your opinions start to scar people and offend people because you're being hurtful and hateful with your opinion. If your opinion is just your point of view on certain things, we're all entitled to opinions. That's what makes this world and the world we live in so great. All right, let's just get back to a time and a place where our opinions aren't so hurtful or hateful all the time. All right, if you're with friends and you're arguing about something and you guys can banter back and forth and you know how to take each other, that's fine. But when you get on a social media platform behind a phone or a keyboard, you don't need to be throwing things out there that might hurt somebody when you never get a chance to see that person face to face. So share information. Get your information out there. Be able to talk about what you think is your belief. This is my belief of how I consider options and RPOs. RPOs to me are option football. Okay, there's the bell. RPOs to me are option football. I consider them option football. But when I teach other coaches or players how I categorize things, I categorize them into triple option things where we're going to run and have a screen phase, and then RPOs that are going to be second, third level with throws. All right, but any of those option plays for me are post-snap. And then my gifts or my pre-snap access throws, all right, those are things that are leverage-based numbers or matchup-based, but they're pre-snap, so I don't consider those RPOs. All right, hopefully this helps you guys. Agree or not, all right, leave a comment. If you're not a subscriber to the channel, make sure you subscribe. Turn your notifications on so you know every time I do a video or I do something on YouTube Live. Thumbs up, thumbs down if you like this. Don't like it, how I present it. And you don't like the way I talk. I know that I say okay or all right a million times. If that's a problem for you, put a thumbs down. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't hurt. It just lets me know your opinion. Always leave a comment. Every comment you leave, I'll get back to, all right, if I see it on my end. Appreciate everything you guys do for me. And play fast football. If you're playing again soon and practice starting up, God bless you. Be excited. Get out there with the kids. Do everything and follow all the protocols you need so that you can play. We played all our games, so it is possible. All right. Remember, you won't play well until you play fast. And as always, I'll catch you guys next time.